Hello, everybody. We are back and we are live with Jock Talk, our premiere and flagship show for the Jocks of All Trades podcast. I'm Brad and I'm joined by.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Luke.
I was going to say his name is now Hello, everyone.
It's we're doing a dynamic duo today since we're missing our host number 3. Kyle is doing some other things right now. I'm sure, Brad, you probably know what those things are more than I do.
Yes, work.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Good to have a new job. Glad he's in a good spot. We may have to rearrange how we do this show and when we do this show, but for now, we're back here with you at 4. Luke, it is time to go into the ever popular The Buzz. Where are we starting out here this week? I need to pull up my spreadsheet. That's why you're going first.
All right, cool. Not a problem. Let's start it out with the dumpster fire that is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
And we all probably know, if you follow NFL sports at all, you probably heard about the whole Henry Ruggs situation and how sad that is. Henry Ruggs was arrested for a DUI where he was going, 156 miles per hour?
156, and his blood alcohol content was 0.191, which is more than 3 times the legal limit in that state.
See, that's just sad. And he got in an accident, and there was a person killed. I guess Henry Ruggs was distraught about it to the point of of trying to kill himself, which is, I have no words for it other than just sad, and it deserves a stronger word than sad. Yep. It's tragic, really. So you have that situation going on. Then you have the Damon Arnett situation going on, which is just, having a machine gun and pointing it at a camera and excuse me, saying a bunch of things. I'm sorry, you can't have that kind of thing going on. So everything from what was going on with John Gruden to now Henry Ruggs to now Damon Arnett, it's like you see the franchise just starting to burn to the ground right now.
Yeah. Specifically, let's talk about that 2020 Raiders draft class. It's awful. Let's start with their first pick, Henry Ruggs. He's a wide receiver. He's now in jail. Their second first-round pick, Damon Arnett. He has been cut from the team. Their third-round pick that year, Lynn Bowden, he was traded. He never took any snaps as a Raider. Any. If I remember correctly, he's now with Miami. Their other third-round pick was Brian Edwards? I think it's Brian Edwards. Why can't I think of his name right now? That should tell you how good he is. He's average at best. Their fourth-round pick, Simpson, the guard from Clemson, he's benched. And then their other fourth-round pick, Robertson, the cornerback from Louisiana Tech, is a backup. So nothing that they invested in 2020 has panned out at all. I think it just goes. I want to throw a curveball to you here. I don't think it has as much to do with the young men that's there as it does with the management and the people that should have been helping them be on a right path of mental health, just responsibility. A lot of it's just responsibility. Holy crap! It's not hard.
These young men have come from, I would say, quality college programs. I mean, it's Henry Ruggs came out of Alabama, Damon Arnett came out of Ohio State. Those programs have, both of us here being fans would like to think have quality cultures I'd be shocked if anything like that kind of behavior would be ever tolerated under someone like Nick Saban. And nothing like that behavior would be anywhere near tolerated by someone under Ryan Day. I'd say even under Urban Meyer. I don't think. Urban has his problems, but I doubt that he would have allowed something like that to go on under his tenure. So it speaks, I believe, more to the culture at the Raiders organization that allows for young people like that to go down that dark road. And it's a problem that needs to be addressed. And it needs to be addressed fast.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Let's move on. I want to ask you about one, and then I'm going to talk about another one. What do you make of the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this weekend against the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and again.
Yeah, but the blind squirrel needed the big scary monster to like poof into an adorable teddy bear that week, kind of.
Well, I mean, and they kind of did. I mean, that. Don't ask me what happened to the Bills' offense. It's like, oh, we don't need to show up today, and so it became a battle of field goals. It was. I think it's just weird. It was one of those weird games where, it's like neither team could get their offense going, and the defenses did their job mostly, and it came down to a battle of field goals, and Jacksonville came out with it. I don't really know what to tell you. Do I believe it is an outlier? Of course it's an outlier until proven otherwise. Do I think that the Jags are on their way up? Is this their second or third win? Just their second win. So, I mean, until they start actually winning more consistently, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because right now, even with a 9-6 win, there are still a lot of issues there. I mean, the fact that your offense couldn't put it in the end zone once is still a reason for concern. But, it could show some actual really strong improvement by your defense. But, that's going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to start doing that regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really strange. The other strange one that my whole thing just messed up. There we go. I'm going to talk about briefly. Titans beat the Rams. And it really came down to, you can take Matthew Stafford out of the Detroit Lions, but you can't take the Detroit Lions out of Matthew Stafford. And that kind of showed really hard against the defense that's not exactly hard or tough to play against. I'll talk more about that later.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that Kyle wrote this. Are the Cowboys overrated?
I don't think so. Because to be overrated, you have to be like really highly rated in the first place. And I don't think anyone is really highly rating the Cowboys right now. I think that, the teams that are getting highly rated right now, you have, the Chargers, you have the Bills, you have some of these other teams. And so, the Cowboys might not be in those like S tier teams, but they might be like A or B tier. And so if they're being rated down there, and I think they're deserving of that. They've won, they lost this week and to a Broncos team that I really think came out of nowhere to win that game. But, you look at, the week before, they won versus the Vikings. They beat the Patriots, who are actually looking like a playoff caliber team. They beat the Giants, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Eagles. So they were playing some inferior competition, but they were on a winning streak. And so they overrated? No, because I think people are rating them at what they are. They're right now your traditional A or B level team.
Yeah. I do think they're the best team in that division by a long shot. Because it's who else? The Giants, the Eagles, the football team. None of them look good.
Yeah, no.
So I'll take the Cowboys in that division, but I'm not going to take them as a Super Bowl favorite. So I don't know. I feel like that's a blah question. You kind of answered this one, so I'll let you take a stab at this. Can the Patriots be a playoff contender?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at you just look at where they are in the standings wise, and you can see that they're competing at a very high level. I mean, they're only right now a half game behind the Bills in that division. And if you were going to ask me at the beginning of the season, it's like, okay, the AFC East, who's going to win that division? And I would be like, oh, Bills runaway. Now, I would have picked the Patriots to be second in the division. That's because the only other two teams left there are the Jets and the Dolphins. But you have the Patriots only a half game behind the Bills right now. And I think that came as a surprise to everyone. And that right now, I think you have to lay that at the feet of Mac Jones, who's been playing very, very well as a rookie. And Belichick has put him in a place where he can succeed. So it's a very interesting time to be a Patriots fan. And it's an interesting time to be a Bills fan when you think that we should be running away with the division, but we aren't.
Yeah. Did I hear you say something about Mac Jones might be the reason the Patriots are good? It's like somebody may have said that previous to the entire season that he might be one of the better rookie quarterbacks to come out of this class.
One of the better ones. Yeah. No, that's...
Well, it's not Lawrence. It's not Fields. It's not Lance.
You put give Fields what Mac Jones has, and I think Fields does better.
But Fields has Allen Robinson, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery.
Mac Jones has an O-line.
But Mac Jones is throwing to Nelson Aguilar. Like, that's not scary. Neither is Jacoby Myers. Like, the receivers in Chicago are much better than the receivers in New England. But the tight ends are better. I'll give you that. The tight ends are better in New England.
Tight ends are better. The blocking is better. And here's the thing. When you are a young QB, and we've talked about this, it is much better to have an O-line than weapons. Because, yes, you might have a bunch of weapons out there, but you're getting 1.2 seconds to throw to them. That they can't do you much good in 1.2 seconds.
But even when he played his best game, which was, I would say, last night against the Steelers, he did really well. And the week before that, he did really well. But it wasn't enough to merit a win. It wasn't enough to make a difference. Like, he's playing well, but not well enough to be a difference maker versus Mac Jones, who is like single-handedly kind of the reason the Patriots are good. It's not the run game, even though the run game is decent. You got Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Brandon Bolden, all those weirdos. Like it's somebody different every week. So it's not like it's a consistent running attack. It's primarily the passing game. So that's the only reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like I thought that would be a good fit for him in the system and what's there with the coach. Not saying that Fields wasn't a bad place for Chicago or Chicago wasn't a bad place for Fields. But Chicago wasn't ready to put Fields out when they did. Now you're starting to see him have success. Like I said, when you start him too early, he's going to struggle against defenses. Now, overall, I think Chicago will have a better shot with him if they give him what he needs. If they don't, then I'm going to say Mac Jones was the best quarterback out of that class because Lawrence looks like garbage. Lance, who's played, is like, ugh.
Yeah, no. I do believe it's come down to Mac Jones versus Justin Fields for the best sport QBs of the draft.
Of course.
Whether, if Mac Jones was taken by the Bears and Justin was taken by the Patriots, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think until I see Justin competing with a semi-okay O-line, which he does not have, I mean, then we can talk about
Right.
Mac being the best one.
Well, but see, here's the thing that gets me. David Montgomery thrives behind that O-line. And if anybody shouldn't thrive, it's a running back.
Well, here's the thing. There are two. Run blocking versus pass protection are two very, very different techniques.
True.
You can have an O-line that's really good at creating holes and not good at pass protection.
I want the stats on the Bears pass protection versus the Patriots. I would like to see that, just to have like numbers in front of us.
I'd like to look that up too, but I don't know where exactly to go for that.
I don't either.
We'll need to leave
that for later. That can be our own
that discussion for a later day.
Yeah, if you don't know, we like to argue anything Alabama and Ohio State, no matter what level, no matter what sport, it happens. So
yeah, no, it definitely happens.
We'll take that to the other room, basically. We'll keep talking here. I know you don't like this, but Kyle and I are on the same mind of this. I'll let you go first, because I know that you have opinions about this. Why did Aaron Rodgers lie about being vaccinated?
And here's what I'm going to say. I don't think he lied. He said that he was immunized when he was asked about being vaccinated. And so, because here's the thing, our society has created basically a class system around being vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated, you are a second-class citizen. And so when anyone asks you, are you vaccinated? Anything less than an enthusiastic yes is by default a no. And so when Aaron Rodgers just immediately right off the gate says, yeah, I'm immunized. Now, there are ways other than getting the vaccine to be immunized. And he got some homeopathic treatments from his doctor and some other things going on that made sure that he was as immunized as he could be without being vaccinated. And so that is actually the truth. Now, people took it and said, okay, he's vaccinated from that. My question is, does the media and people outside of the Packers organization, do they have a right to know his vaccination status? And I would say no, they don't have a right to that. Now, the Packers organization knew that he was vaccinated. His teammates knew that he was vaccinated. The NFL organization knew that he wasn't vaccinated. His teammates knew he wasn't vaccinated. And the Packers organization knew that he wasn't vaccinated. That's why he was testing for COVID every day. He was getting tested daily for COVID, and every day he tested negative. It was actually safer to be around him prior to his contracting COVID than it was to be around all of his other vaccinated colleagues, because they weren't getting tested daily. And we know that just getting the vaccine does not immunize you from COVID. You can get COVID and still have the vaccine. Mm-hmm. So, and then once he got COVID, once he tested positive, he immediately entered the protocols for that. The only reason Aaron Rodgers is getting a hard time right now is because he made the media believe something different, which is a cardinal sin, I suppose. And he made a choice that is not acceptable in today's America, which is choosing to not be vaccinated. That's a choice that earns you second-rate citizen status. And it's a decision that you see a lot of athletes right now making, and they're being vilified for it. And so do I look at Aaron Rodgers and I go, he did something to try to keep his own health decisions private and to himself, and only reveal those around those whom he knew? Yes. And is he free to do that? Yes. So do I have a problem with what he did? Not really.
And that's where I do have a problem with what he did. To your point of who had the right to know, the NFL had the right to know. And the NFL right now is kind of like, we didn't know you weren't vaccinated. But the Packers organization didn't seem surprised. So here's what I really hate. Then the Packers lied to the NFL And then by definition, Aaron Rodgers also lied to the NFL because it's not as much of a pariah as you think to say, I am not vaccinated. Okay. It might be health reasons, might be personal choice. So be it. That's your choice. But choosing to beat around the bush by saying I'm immunized and saying no, I'm not vaccinated, those are two different things. So he chose to lead media on, which media wants to know. You're a star. Congratulations. You don't get to have a private life most of the time because you are a role model for people. People are going to want to know what Aaron Rodgers wears, what he eats sometimes, like that kind of stuff. And COVID has kind of fallen under that same, how do you view it? As like a casual conversation point. Are you vaccinated? No. Okay. Are you? Yeah. Like it's not as much of a pariah as you think.
Here's the thing. Fewer people, I think, have that reaction to it.
It's okay, but I'm telling
you, visceral topic in today's America.
It's not. It's really not. The media wants you to think that. The media is the big problem in all of this. But to avoid the media, tell the truth. This is the problem that I have with Aaron Rodgers. Do whatever you want. If you want to try the homeopathic stuff, if you want to try all those list of medications that I had sent to me when I had it, of different things you can do and different procedures and hydro something, do whatever, man. That's great. But don't go out and like intentionally skirt, are you vaccinated? When the NFL required vaccinations. That's the problem. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You should have just said, hey, I won't play this season. Look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's not playing.
And he's a pariah right now.
He's a pariah.
Look at how people
Kyrie Irving.
Look at how people are treating Kyrie because he's not vaccinated.
Hold on. He is not a pariah because he's not vaccinated. He's a pariah because that man bails out on everybody every time and blames everybody else around him. He's still Kyrie Irving. I hate Kyrie Irving. And you know what? You make whatever decision, man. That doesn't matter. But you always bail out on your teammates all the time. That's what people are mad about if you listen to people talk about it. They're mad that he's bailing out again. He's bailing out. It's, oh, I wanted to play with like my own team. And now once KD and Harden came and you said that's what I wanted, now you don't show up. Now you don't play games. Now you're choosing not to get vaccinated, which is fine. But you already understand that means you cannot play for the Nets. Request a trade, man. You could go play for other organizations. It is not a league-wide
that I will
like
say. I can't believe that he hasn't requested a trade yet because there's no way he's going to see
Brooklyn. Brooklyn will not let him play without a vaccine because of New York state laws. That's why I say go to the Wizards. Go somewhere else, man. You want your own team. That's what you said when you left LeBron.
Go play with Bradley Beal or go play with Jonathan Isaac down in Orlando.
So look, see, we already have agreed. It's not about the vaccine. It's about the person. And people already don't like Aaron Rodgers. If I remember correctly, if I read this correctly, he got dropped by State Farm. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I think I read somewhere that State Farm was kind of sticking behind him.
Oh, that's not what I read, but I'll have to check.
We'll need to verify that.
He's getting ripped to shreds because he chose how he wanted to respond to the media, and none of it was honest. None of it was. You should have said, I was not vaccinated. Fine. Don't be vaccinated. I'm not going to sit here and say Aaron Rodgers is a terrible person because he's not vaccinated. No, I'm not. I'm going to say he's a terrible person because he's a cancer to that organization, but it's not because he's not vaccinated. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. Like, just say I'm not vaccinated, move on. Just tell the truth. That's my only problem. That's the only problem I have with it. Make your own decision, man. But when you're getting paid millions of dollars and they say, hey, do this one thing, just tell them, I don't want to do that one thing and move on. The NBA already has players that aren't playing or chose to get the vaccine to play. Like, see, nobody got the choice to do whatever they wanted and still play. That's not cool, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And we can talk about, how private companies mandating experimental drugs or whatever,
right?
How right or wrong that is,
right?
We can
right.
discuss
But
that at a different time.
To sum it up, you don't think that he lied, and to sum it up, I think he did. That's basically the two camps.
Basically,
but notice neither one of us is talking about whether he's actually vaccinated or not. It's about him lying or not lying. Like, you see what I mean? It's still not about his vaccination status. It's because he said, I'm immunized, which people are going to take as I'm vaccinated. So that's my only hang up. That's my only hang up. If he had said, I'm not vaccinated, great, man. Sit on the bench, get traded somewhere, retire. You're going to retire as one of the greatest quarterbacks anyways. Like, you have so many options. You didn't even want to come back this season. Does anybody remember that from months ago?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm done with the man. He's ridiculous. Do whatever you want, man, but quit lying to people. Quit lying to that organization saying you want to be there. Retire. Go do Jeopardy. Nobody cares anymore. So, anyways,
moving
that's
on.
the buzz for this week. Let's move to NFL highlights. Would you like to do this rundown, or do you want to do college football?
You can take this one, and I'll do college football.
I knew you were going to say that. That's fine. So to start us off on Thursday, the Colts played the Jets at home, 45-30. I still maintain that if Mike White hadn't been hurt, that score would have been a little different in the Jets' favor. The Ravens beat the Vikings and held on in overtime. Thank you, Justin Tucker, for bringing us another win for the season, 34-31. The Browns laid the beat down on the Bengals, 41-16.
Nick Chubba.
The Broncos beat the Cowboys 30-16. That was strange. Is it? It wasn't 30-16. I don't know if I wrote the wrong score. We'll find out.
Might have been. Yeah.
The Dolphins beat the Texans 17-9. Congratulations! It literally, you could sneeze and beat the Texans. The Falcons squeaked it out against the Saints. Matt Ryan is not dead yet. As many times as I'd like to say that he's not a quality quarterback, he always plays well. The Giants beat the Raiders 23-16. That was a shocker to me.
Well, right now it's beating a dumpster fire considering what's going on over there. But
it's true. The Patriots played the Panthers at the Panthers 24-6. Jags beat the Bills 9-6. Strange. The Chargers came to play Philly and won 27-24. A lot closer, I think, than what they expected. The Chiefs played the Packers and won 13-7. Big old snooze fest that game was. The Cardinals beat the Rams 31-17. Wasn't sure what to make of that, especially with Murray being out, but James Conner found that white line 3 times. Nasty. The Titans beat the Rams 28-16, and then the Steelers beat the Bears at home 29-27. Congratulations, but also there were a lot of weird calls in that game that you had in your favor. But you won. I'll give you the win. So
yeah.
What game did you watch, or what stuck out to you this week?
What stuck out to me this week was, the fact, just the David and Goliath of the Jags versus the Bills.
Yeah.
Again, like what we said, I don't think this is a harbinger of anything to come. I think come next week, we're going to see the same old Jags, and we're going to see the Bills. I think the Bills are probably going to win big, whoever they're playing next week.
Yeah.
Because they losing to the Jags cannot feel good. There's only one other team that's lost to the Jags, and so now the Bills have kind of become they're seeing teams kind of maybe point and laugh, or at least they're imagining that. And so I don't want to be whoever the Bills are playing next week, because
the Jets
are going to be fire.
The Jets.
The hapless Jets. No, the Bills are going to absolutely wipe the floor with the Jets.
They're dead. Yep.
Yeah, they're dead. They're gone. Sing the song. The fat lady's singing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to be the Jets next week. So the Bills are probably going to win that game big. And most then likely. Whoever's playing the Jags, honestly, I'm going to take them right now, because I don't think the Jags are going to have it in them to win 2 games in a row.
The Colts. It's the Colts. So
okay, I'm taking the Colts right now.
Yeah. Smart choice. There's a lot of games that I could talk about. I did kind of want to talk about the Browns, the Bengals, because suddenly without OBJ, Baker Mayfield looked like Patrick Mahomes. But it was strange. But the one that I really want to talk about is Cardinals 49ers. a lot of people slept on this Cardinals team after they lost to the Packers and said, well, they're not good. I think I'm the only one out of the three of us that maintained and said, I still like the Cardinals. I think they have a good chance to win.
I was still with you with the Cardinals.
Okay,
Though.
I thought you disagreed with me on that. My bad. All right.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's like, hey, they've lost one game all season long. You know, I'm not the one to go with overreaction. So
that's true. But it was also kind of a tough way to lose. But you know what? When you can come in with Colt McCoy and have James Conner just kind of wreck everybody, it was kind of cool. And it was kind of nice to see that the Cards are still going to win.
And that you're not dependent on Kyler Murray being there.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you know when Murray comes back, it's just going to be 1,000 times worse for any opposing defense. So I think maybe this is their Super Bowl year if they can win out. And I mean, the 49ers that had Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Garoppolo, they just couldn't get it done. They just really could not get it done. And I mean, it's not saying that they didn't play well, but man, Cards defense looked good too without JJ Watt. So
yeah,
that was a real shock to me, but it's good to see them keep winning. It'd be really cool to see Kyler win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Let's move on to Fix Me. You have Fix Me this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to be talking about a team that I never thought we'd be talking about this team in Fix Me. I give you the Kansas City Chiefs.
Spicy.
Yeah, and honestly, this one's hard because the offense, which features players like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still playing for them, correct?
Hurt.
Is he injured?
Injured.
Okay. But you've got running backs on that team that are quality, and you have freaking Patrick Mahomes. There is no reason why this offense should be struggling, at least when it comes to personnel, which makes me look across the way to some of the coaching. And I'm going, okay, does there need to be a scheme change? Does there need to be a change of offensive coordinator? Because I don't think the problem is Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a Super Bowl winning coach. And I think that when you have a Super Bowl winning staff on hand, it's hard not to get maybe sometimes too loyal to those people. I think he needs to do some major I think there needs to be maybe some major changes coming on the staff of that organization. Maybe shuffle a few things, maybe get in some fresh faces, get some fresh schemes both on offense and on defense. Because there is no reason on God's green earth that offense should be stalling with the personnel that they have. So I would recommend maybe teams literally just back off out of the box and don't really respect Kansas City's run game. And so maybe you need to start really focusing more on that. Get a running back who can really put the fear of God into teams and allow you to allow them to have to play Patrick Mahomes honest and not completely fall back into coverage when he goes to throw the ball. So really, and see that was the MO of the modus operandi of Kansas City, was their high flying offense, and it is down for the count. So until you can get that fixed, Kansas City, I don't think is going to see any success.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That is not a very difficult take whatsoever. So let us move on to the take of the week with Spicy a Meatball. I'm going to start out really simple with you and move on. The Packers and the Bills aren't all that. I don't buy it. I love Josh Allen. He's great. But you shouldn't have fallen apart against the Bills. You shouldn't have lost to half the teams that you lost to this season. It's making me wonder, are you really playoff relevant this year, guys? Like, you've got New England knocking on your back door to take over that division, and you're not, like, supplanting anybody. And the Jets dropped a cool 30 points on the Colts defense, which is not a bad defense. So I'm concerned there. Then let's talk about the Packers. You can't lose to the Saints and the Chiefs. Usually that wouldn't sound bad, right? But we just talked about the Chiefs not looking like the Chiefs at all this season. The fact that they put up 13 points and beat you is pathetic. And then you lost to the Saints in your home opener, and you had Aaron Rodgers for that game. So I'm not convinced that the Packers are all that. But I will tell you who is all that. I'm finally on your side about it. The Tennessee Titans. I'm on that train. I see it. They've had some quality wins. Now, the thing that concerns me is they don't have Derrick Henry. But they played the Rams and beat them without the best player on their freaking team. That says something. I don't care who you are. That says something. If you can go out without your star player and beat the crap out of a premier team, I believe in you. So I guess it wasn't super spicy this week, but
I do have a question though. You threw the Bills in with the Packers, and they ain't all that. Now, I can understand maybe the Packers, but the Bills, outside of a couple slip-ups, have looked strong. I mean, yes, they lost to the Steelers first week of the season, which is kind of unacceptable. But then they absolutely went and demolished teams after that. They demolished the Dolphins. They demolished the Washington football team. They demolished the Texans. They demolished the Chiefs. Then they lost to the Titans. So but only by a little bit. And that was when they still had Derrick Henry. Then they demolished the Dolphins again, and then they lost to the Jags, which is bad.
Right. Let's go back through that. You lost to the Steelers, who are the bottom of the AFC North. You lost to the Dolphins. Or you won against the Dolphins. They aren't exactly competing for any titles. You won against Washington. They don't look great either. That defense looks awful. You won against the Texans. Need I say any more about that? You beat the Chiefs. Do you want a gold star for that one? Like, they don't even look like the Chiefs. Then you lost to the Titans. Then you beat the Dolphins again by 15, which was really sus. And then you lost to the Jaguars. Yes, you play the Jets, you play the Colts, you play the Saints, the Patriots, Buccaneers, Panthers, Patriots again, Falcons, and then Jets. I would go as far to say they're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more losses until the end of the season, which would leave them with 8 losses. That's pretty bad.
Let's look.
Colts.
You and I both have said that they're going to clean the Jets' clock.
Right. So there's one win. You count the losses. I'll count the wins. So one win.
I think Colts, they probably win. Saints.
Tell me how to stop Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor is playing lights out right now.
So, yeah, I'm going to say that one's a loss.
You're going to call that one a loss? Okay.
I will. The Saints have still found a way to make it happen with Trevor Siemian, which that's not the part of that offense that goes off. You and I both know it's Alvin Kamara.
Correct.
So that's 2 losses. I'm going to count the losses.
Okay. I think they split with the Patriots, so that add one more loss to that.
Yep.
Buccaneers could very easily find a way to beat them. And then I don't see the Panthers, the Falcons, or the Jets beating them. So
no. So if they take another loss from the Patriots, that's 5 losses to finish out at 8.
Woo.
Because the Patriots have been hot. Okay. They really have. And if you walk into the Bills, they're still the Patriots, and they're still the Bills. That's how I feel about this. Like, it could be a clean sweep for five losses. So they right now are in my hot water tank. Like, y'all don't look good. You need to turn it around. So that's why
they've definitely had an easy front of the schedule.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yep. So let's move on to let's take out the trash. The entire Raiders organization.
We've kind of gone over this already.
That's easy. We got it. The one that's kind of taken a turn, we got to keep it short because we got to keep moving. Mac Jones intentionally twisting Brian Burns' ankle. I like how this was written because I don't think it was meant with ill intent, and it wasn't meant with a bad thing. Mac Jones even came out and said, I was just trying to make a play because I thought he had the ball. So he pulled on him to try to take him down because that's what
Can I just say, regardless of whether or not the man was intentionally trying to hurt him, that was probably the most jiu-jitsu-esque tackle from the ground I have ever seen a quarterback execute. The fact that he holds onto one leg and sweeps the other one with his other leg.
I'm in the
camp. I mean, it doesn't help that he looked like a freaking judo master when he took him down. It doesn't help his case.
In my mind, a tackle is a tackle. I've seen worse tackles from linebackers on people that don't get flagged. But for whatever reason, we're freaking out about a quarterback trying to make a play. Because here's the thing. When they throw an interception and a cornerback goes by the quarterback, what do we say about that quarterback? They didn't even try.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones did, and he's getting attacked. Now, granted, I thought that it looked strange. That was a weird way to take him down. But I don't think the whole point was to hurt Brian Burns. I don't agree with the entire Panthers organization that are just coming out to slander Mac Jones and attack him. I don't agree with that. Sorry. Like, it's football. You're going to have weird stuff happen. This is not a case of helmet to helmet. This is not a case of I ripped his face mask because I was mad. This is not the Myles Garrett situation either. Like,
where he takes his helmet off and absolutely he rips his helmet, he rips the guy's helmet off and then tries to clobber him with it.
Yeah. So I don't subscribe to any of that. So I'm not gonna say let's take out the trash. You may feel differently, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to do it.
If you do feel differently, please say so in the comments below.
Please do. I'd love to hear what you think. Let's move on to Flashbang. I will ask you, Flashbang, if you talk to me about Jock, Paper, Scissors. How's that?
Sure, that works.
Okay, quick. Remember, it's just one sentence. Browns or Steelers?
Browns, because Nick Chubb.
Fair. Texans or Lions?
Lions, because no one wants to be part of the Texans right now.
Fair enough. Adrian Peterson or Jeremy McNichols?
Adrian Peterson, because he's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, that's fair. Jaylen Brown or Ben Simmons?
Jaylen Brown, because I'm sane.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Moving on to some college ball. In the top 10, there were some things that went down. We have Georgia holding strong against Missouri, 43-6.
Not Missouri.
Yeah, really though. Just so we know, these are the top 10 according to the AP, not according to the College Football Committee.
Because they haven't changed it yet.
Exactly. However, I'll be able to watch those rankings live tonight, so I'm excited about that. We have number 2 Cincinnati according to the AP. The A beat itty-bitty Tulsa. They have one win, right, Brad?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they have one win. Cincinnati beat Tulsa by a whole 8 points, 28-20. That was interesting. Number 3, Alabama beat LSU. And how many losses does LSU have, Brad?
Now 5.
Would
you like me to pull up Nebraska?
By a whole 6 points.
Oh,
which
I'm sorry.
is also kind of sus, especially considering the fact that it was in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma had a bye. which actually looks to be one of the stronger performances of the week. Oregon at Washington. Do we have a score for that one, Brad?
Oh, I typed it in. I don't know what happened. It's going to be a minute.
Let's see.
I know they beat them,
26. They beat Washington 26-16.
Okay.
So that's it's a stronger win for a rivalry game, I suppose, because it is a heavy rivalry game. Let's see.
I'm ready.
And then we have Ohio State versus Nebraska.
And how many losses does Nebraska have to only beat them by 9?
Okay, they have 6, but in fairness, Nebraska plays a bunch of teams well. And
how many losses do they have now?
Nebraska.
I said 5. I said 5. It's 7. Thank you. Yeah. So LSU had 4. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So then 7. Notre Dame, number 7, Notre Dame beat Navy 34-6.
Wow.
Yeah, no, seriously. Which is interesting because Cincinnati beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame beat Navy by a ton more than Cincinnati did. Moving on, Michigan State, the laughing stock of the week, loses in West Lafayette to Purdue, 40-29. Oh, there's a team that didn't deserve to be in the committee's top 4. And as a Big Ten fan, I say that as and with a touch of cringe.
Did you say Iowa? Sorry.
No, I said. Oh god. All right. Number 9, Michigan beat Indiana 29-7, and then number 10, Oklahoma State at West Virginia beat them rather soundly 24-3. Now we go to some up high, down low. Ooh, too slow. Now we go to the number 9 team according to the College Football Playoff Committee. Wake Forest, the last undefeated team within the ACC. However, we're learning that isn't saying much, and the last one just fell. North Carolina beat Wake Forest by an incredible score of 58-55. There was no defense to be found whatsoever in this game, and it was just a shootout of shootouts, and North Carolina came out on top. Then we have...
You got to say it.
What was that? Oh, so up high, down low. Ooh, too slow, Wake Forest. No chance at a playoff for you.
No.
Okay, moving on. We have another team that likes to play spoiler, Illinois. Illinois beating number 20 Minnesota 14-6. Minnesota might have been kind of controlling their own destiny within the Big Ten West at that point. Not anymore. So up high, down low. Ooh, too slow, Minnesota. Too slow. Then we had everyone talking about how Baylor might be able to wreck Oklahoma's run, and they still might be able to. However, TCU was going to have their say first. TCU beats number 12 Baylor 30-28. Baylor up high, down low. Too slow. And then, I'm going to save that one for last because that was one's most hilarious one. Arkansas decides to come back to life a little bit. Goes to, plays Mississippi State, number 17, according to the College Football Playoff Committee, and beats them 31-28. So Mississippi State up high, down low, too slow. And then you have this old rivalry, Tennessee versus number 18 Kentucky. Another game where there was almost no defense played.
Yeah.
And number 18 Kentucky falls to Tennessee. So Kentucky up high, down low, too slow, real too slow. And then at the bottom of the CFP rankings, you have Fresno State absolutely crapping the bed to unranked Boise State. It's not 40-14. Not even fun at all. Fresno State, up high, down low. Way too slow. And then the pièce de résistance. Number 3, Michigan State walks into West Lafayette versus Purdue. Loses 40-29. Up high, down low. Way too slow.
That is absolutely right. We are gonna head over to Jock Paper Scissors. You are more than welcome to go ahead and ask me the two that are written in there. I changed one just for the benefit of being really serious. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right, so Jock Paper Scissors, Brad. You got Michigan State, Michigan, or Penn State.
I'm going to be really honest. Sorry, Kyle. Penn State has had their chance multiple times to prove that they're the big dog in the Big Ten, and they have failed. Michigan State, you didn't play anybody, and then you lost bad to Purdue. However, Michigan's only loss is to a weirdo game against Michigan State. I'm going to take Michigan out of all three of them. Because you know what? At least they've played some more quality games against quality teams, and they've put it together. Granted, Harbaugh will probably not be playing for the playoffs, but it looks good. That's good, Michigan. That looks really good. I'll take Michigan.
No, I would agree with you.
Yep.
Out of those three, I would take Michigan as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the serious one.
All right.
Would you take a Pee-wee team, a bag of half-eaten Cheetos, not like, a half-eaten bag of Cheetos, but a bag of Cheetos where each individual Cheeto is half-eaten, or the Detroit Lions?
That's hard. I have to think about that one. The Pee-wee team would probably go 12-0 in the NFL because they actually want to play, and they're not being paid millions of dollars. The Detroit Lions are a bunch of professional athletes that miraculously find a way to lose every week, even in their bye week. Did you hear the bye week beat them this week? It was insane. Sadly enough, I'd have to take the bag of half-eaten Cheetos because I really think that they have more firepower than the other two teams. And that's
especially if one of those jalapeno Cheetos.
Exactly. That is my whole point.
Yes, there's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, all joking aside, I'd probably take the Pee-wee team because I don't believe in the Lions. I don't think anyone does.
Okay.
On to Baller Bill, y'all. I hate this. Kyle wrote this episode specifically to mess with me. Ben Simmons has trade rumors. Finally, it's not like he's panning out for the Sixers or anything.
No.
To the Celtics for Jaylen Brown. Is this a fair trade or no? I'll go ahead and start this out and say...
If the Celtics do anything but laugh in their face, there's something wrong.
Yeah. There is a special kind of bird that I would love to give the Boston Celtics if they even consider this trade at all remotely. You want me to trade a player that has been contributing the entire season and his entire tenure to the Celtics winning games for the guy that was literal rat poison to the 76ers? No, thank you. It is not fair. We will take Joel Embiid and a first-round pick.
Yeah, just to take Ben Simmons off your hands.
Yeah, like it's not worth it.
If we're going to get Ben Simmons, we also need Joel Embiid and a first-round pick just to take him off your hands.
Last time we took a problem child, we gave up a lot. His name was Kyrie Irving. He came in and poisoned the locker room, and shortly after that, he ended up on the Nets. So I'm not taking any more rat poison on the Boston Celtics. It's not a fair trade. Absolutely not. No.
Yep, exactly. And then we have the Heat, the Sixers, and the Nets on top of the East. You have the Warriors, the Jazz, and the Mavs on top of the West. Brad, who has surprised you most thus far?
Two teams, and neither of them are in the East. The East doesn't really shock me. The Mavs. Listen, Luka Doncic is a walking bucket. That's not even up for debate. However, who's the next best guy that he has on his team? It's pretty much Doncic, and that's it.
I mean, he has Porzingis, I think. So
But Porzingis has not been relevant to that team since he's been there.
Right.
So it's really just Doncic and no one else. So the fact that he's on top of the West, that's pretty telling of how good the teams in the West are, isn't it? The only other one that really shocks me, Steph Curry turned back the clock and said, I'm 20-something again. He just dropped a 50-piece the other night. He is as Stephen A. Smith would say, he is a bad man. He's a bad man. And he's coming out for blood. That team scares me. That team really scares me. They are putting it back together. They've got good players. They've got a good rotation, a good bench, good 3-ball, good defense. Like there's not anything that I would say is really sussy about the Warriors. Dangerous. I like it. I have to go back now and look to see who exactly he dropped that on, that 50-piece, because it was awesome. While I'm looking at that, go ahead and tell me what you think.
No, I would definitely agree with you. I would definitely agree with you. I think I love Luka Doncic, and so I'm so happy to see him successful right now. I think that for that Mavs team to compete with other teams in the playoffs, you need to give him one other person. I mean, at least like you look last year, Giannis, he at least had Chris Middleton. He at least had a Drew Holiday. And so who else does Luka have on that team outside of maybe Kristaps Porzingis, who hasn't really been relevant? They need to get him one other person, one other quality person. No, not Ben Simmons.
And not Tim Hardaway Jr. and friggin' Jalen Brunson. You need to give him something better than that.
Yeah, you need to get him some actual help. Outside of that, I'm also very impressed with the Warriors because, again, it's the Steph Curry show. And Steph has been going off. And Steph is showing he's in MVP form once again. And so, and here's the thing. Even at his age, so much of his game depends on his shooting shot. And as long as he can shoot and get free and run around screens, he's going to be around for a long time. So he has found a way. He has found a method that works in today's game. And so you can't fault him for it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. I decided to look up this team. The starters is Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, Looney, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green. Listen, 2 of those guys already know how to win. You've got Iguodala coming off the bench. That's 3 guys that knew how to win with that team. I don't know, man. That might be a dangerous little team that's coming out. I don't like it. That's scary. Trying to see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, their whole bench is just lovely. They actually have players on their bench. So it's, you know what? It may not be impossible that this is another year that the Warriors turn it around and win another one. Like, it's just not out of the woods. Anyhow, I'm going to skip the name game. We kind of went over a little bit. That is everything that we had this week. Thank you so much for supporting us and being with us as usual. I have been Brad, and this is, of course,
Luke.
Thank you for hanging with us, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.